You're watching Ride Like a Local with Belt Drive Betty. I'm at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls Event, and it is put on by the Airdrie Oilmen's Association. I'm being joined by one of the participants. Her name is Heidi. Heidi, tell me how long you've been coming to Bikes and Bulls.
I've been coming every year, actually, since the beginning.
And how long is that now?
6 years, 7 years now?
Why? What is it about this event that keeps drawing you back?
It's so different. There's such camaraderie between cowboys and bikers. Watching them do their rodeo, enjoying ourselves as we participate in the rodeo as well. It's just a unique event that it's hard to miss.
It seems like a lot of fun. I'm watching all of these bull riders walking around here, admiring the skill of the motorcyclists that are in the rodeo, going, you people are crazy. And then tonight, I imagine, as we're watching the bull riders, it's going to be the tables reversed.
Oh, absolutely. We've thought that many times. And not even just in the rodeo, but when you get out on the dance floor, and there's country dancing and hardcore biker dancing. It's just a great mix of the two genres.
I wonder, why do you think bikers and cowboys can party together so well? Because really, it's not that new. The Falkland Stampede has been doing that for about 100 years now.
Well, aside from the alcohol, I think it's just an appreciation of the skills that you can handle a bull and you can handle iron horse underneath you, and it's just an admirable trait in both the bull riders and the bikers.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm kind of looking forward to the rest of this evening.
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sure we'll be ripping it up on the dance floor.
Sounds good. When we come back, we'll have some more Airdrie Bikes and Bulls. Voted as Canada's most rider-friendly community of the 2016 riding season is Port Alberni, British Columbia, home to one of the longest-running toy runs in Canada, the Port Alberni Toy Run. Bordered on the east by the Beaufort Mountains and on the west by the Pacific Ocean, the Vancouver Island Riders' Paradise, Port Alberni, is Canada's most rider-friendly community. Visit www.portalberni.ca to find out more. We're at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls event, and I'm being joined by the marketing manager for Calgary Harley-Davidson, Todd. Todd Phillips, tell me a little bit about how you, Frisco, got the gig doing the emceeing here.
Basically, Adrian approached me at the event and said, so you're going to get on the mic, right? And the rest is history. So I got up there and talked about the rodeo games with the bikes there and the engine toss. And right now we're trying to encourage people to blow some tires in the burnout competition.
Problem I found with Southern Alberta bikers, no disrespect to any of my Southern Alberta biker friends, their bikes are too pretty. They don't like blowing them up.
Oh, you should see mine then.
Oh?
It's mean, it's nasty, it only gets washed by the rain.
You're my kind of biker.
There you go. Yeah.
Watching these ladies out here taking in the event and watching, they've never, a lot of them have never been exposed to the motorcycle community before, and seeing some of these young girls, their eyes open and appreciation for those motorcycles makes me think we got a whole new crop of young girls coming up.
Very true. I believe that completely. I did see that as well. There was a lady there, a nice young lady that showed the guys how it's done by doing the engine toss. They actually had a motor from a Yamaha that they were throwing off their shoulder, see who could throw it the farthest. And she was the person that showed them how it was done to demo it, which was awesome. And we also had a lady in the bike rodeo and did really well.
That was Brandy.
That was Brandy, yeah. Yeah, she's actually a customer of ours.
And she's actually a friend of mine.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Hey, Hey, we have something in common besides motorcycles.
Crazy.
6 degrees. Boy, we're getting there. You know, the one thing about motorcycles is that when you get a bunch of people together that love motorcycles, conversation's easy. I know everybody's told me, oh no, I don't know what to say, I don't know. We sit down, we start gabbing. Next thing you know, you pretty much forget the camera's there, and you're engaged and engulfed in why we're here. So the Airdrie Oilmen's Association does some pretty good things with the money they raise from Bikes and Bulls. Let's have a chat about that.
Yeah, they do a lot of great work. I was first introduced to Adrian and the association with their white collar boxing event that I attended and that we were one of the sponsors of. And to see the support from not just the oil and gas community, but Albertans, Southern Albertans in general, is really excellent to see. And having some fun doing it, whether it's a bike event or a boxing event or whatever else they're doing, it's really excellent to see the work that they do. And the money that gets raised, they do a good job, and it goes to really help people, which I like to see.
And do you know what their causes are?
I don't have the list of their causes. Now that I've just started doing stuff with them, I'm trying to have time to sit down with Adrian when we're not in the middle of an event doing stuff where I can find out more about all the work they do.
Yeah, because the Airdrie Oilmen's Association, really, they're always giving and always putting stuff back into their community. And for me, as a sponsor of this event, living up in the north, really rewarding to ride down here and see so many northern faces out in that crowd.
Oh, that is really good to see that. And it's an excuse to go for a ride. Why not? Support a great organization doing charitable work. Sounds like a win.
It's an absolute win. When we come back, more people to interview at Airdrie Bikes and Bulls. Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region can assist small business with financing, training, and advisory services. We're here to help small business in rural Alberta. I'm at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls event, being joined right now by a gentleman named Kyle, who is with a company called Lead Projects, and they're one of the major sponsors of the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls, and he also happens to be a contestant. So tell me, Kyle, a little bit about why you're involved with this event.
I've been riding bike for quite a while, and I just enjoy the atmosphere, I enjoy the people. My family's got some background in rodeo and things like that, so I like bikes and I like bulls, so bikes and bulls, how do you get better, right?
True enough. Now, I understand you're a sponsor of this event as well. What do you sponsor?
Basically what we did is we bought one of the packages that they offered so that we could help kind of promote the event and get things going. So our company, League Projects, is we're an oil field service company. The Oilmen's Association they do a lot for the community. They do a lot for the industry. So we're sponsoring them as well as sponsoring the community of Airdrie. We've got people that live in and around Airdrie. So
it makes really, really good sense. And, when you're a community-minded company, these kinds of philanthropic events really do go a long ways to the longevity of your own company. It seems like the more you give, the more you get.
Absolutely, and our company's always been, I've been with them 15 years. So it started small, you kind of know everybody's name and everything else, and it's got that family feel to it. And it's no different with a community. When you get into a community, if you fix something, if you help something, if you endorse something, if you sponsor something, it's not just helping one person, it's helping 30, 40 people. Maybe you don't know, maybe you do. And we have a logo, we have everything else, but that's not what it's about. It's about you come out, you're going to help somebody out, and down the road, absolutely, it's going to come around. So.
Well, and that's what good karma is all about, right? Yeah. And I mean, when you're a good person doing good things and putting good things out there, eventually those good things will come back to you. But that's not why anybody does what they do when it comes to giving to kids, helping out in their local community. I've heard your food bank really, really needs the support here, and that all of these causes are what this event supports.
Absolutely, and at the end of the day, that's basically what it boils down to. You don't do it because you expect something back. You do it because you're helping. You do it because you're capable and you're able to help, and that's what it is, right? we're a fairly large company by some standards and tiny company by other standards. So, we do what we can, and we've got an office in Brooks, we've got an office in Coronation. There's lots of different communities that we affect. We work all over Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, BC, all over the place. So, we're in and around a lot of communities, and if we go in and we leave a bad footprint, that has the same effect as going in and leaving a good footprint, except it's the opposite, right? They don't want to see a logo with league on it. They don't want to see, those guys are here again, they trashed the whatever last time, or they were whatever. So, we want to leave a positive feel when we're in and around an area, because that's basically who we are. So,
Well, and there is the old saying that you really shouldn't crap where you eat, right?
yeah, that's exactly right, because you got to eat there again tomorrow.
And the next day and the week after that and all of those other things. So, bikers, bull riders, partying together. Tell me, what kind of an experience is that from your perspective?
It's been good. I'd step back and I'd like to see a little more of a blend, I guess, is the easiest way to explain it. But it's a good time. Like, bikers get together as a group. There's a lot of people don't understand it, but 95% of the rides that a guy goes on or a girl goes on or anybody else is, you pay your $40 for a poker hand, and at the end of the day, maybe you win $200, but every single event that's put on by that group is done for charity. It's done for the food shelter. It's done for whoever, right? The food bank, the women's shelter, the whatever in the area, whatever is near and dear to the organizer's heart in a way, right? So it's about riding the bike, but it's about more than that. That group gets together and they do that. And the Bikes and Bulls, the blend is not much different. It's a family event, which is different than a lot of the biker events in a lot of ways. And it kind of tones down some of what the bikers are used to, but it also, it introduces, and I've loved rodeo since I was young, it introduces some of that aspect into a different culture, right? It's a bit of a blend in the cultures, but the mindsets are the same. A lot of the rodeos, when they go out and they do something like that, they are there to put on a show, but they're also there for the community. They're good for the community. They back up the community, and some of the other charities and everything else, they both have that common ground, right?
Yeah, and pro rodeo cowboys tend to do a lot of work for children. They tend to help out, and so there's that synergy. There's that mindset there, that meeting of the minds of the old Spock mind meld,
Exactly.
But from my perspective, I've been supporting Adrian and the Alberta, or the Airdrie Oilmen's Association now for quite a while, and for me, this is my first time out to this event, and it's really interesting to watch all the children, the families, see all the giggling, the tossing around water balloons. It's a really, really wonderful atmosphere out there.
Absolutely, and last year was quite a bit bigger turnout for how many people showed up. I had talked to Adrian. I just met Adrian last year, and he's a really good guy. I talked to him a little bit earlier about the whole, the atmosphere with kids here, right? Compared to when you're a biker, you're not used to that type of a thing. When you go to bike rodeo, you just don't see it. It's not the way it is. And last year there was a couple things that were kind of, no, there's a line here, there's a line there, and way more people. And I discussed with him about the amount of people this year, and it's a really good event. Industry didn't help because Oilmen's Association, we're an oil industry. I'm in an oil industry, and it kicks around your budgets, it kicks around your sponsors, and everything's a little bit different. But he stepped up to the plate from the Airdrie Oilmen's Association, and they still did the event, even though they don't have the heavy sponsorship they're used to. So I hope it keeps going. I hope it, industry's on the uptick. we hope. So if it goes that way, I hope it keeps going.
I hope so too. When we come back, we'll take in some more Airdrie Bikes and Bulls. Cape Breton, Nova Scotia, home to the Cabot Trail and the Cape Breton Bike Rally. With some of the most magnificent riding and the friendliest of people one can find anywhere, Cape Breton is the runner-up community in Canada's most rider-friendly community contest. Visit CapeBretonBikeRally.com to find out why. I'm with Adrian Pruden. He is with the Airdrie Oilmen's Association, and we're here at the Airdrie Bikes and Bulls Event. And Adrian, tell me, how the hell did you guys come up with this idea of combining a motorcycle rodeo and a bull riding competition?
Well, we have a group of oilmen, people in various people, business owners, sales guys, service hands, etc. We put on all these different events, and we had an idea back in 2011 of doing something other than a golf tournament and a few other things we were mulling around with. And we had one group of guys, about 4 or 5 of them wanted to do a motorcycle rally, and we had another guy, 2 or 3 guys that wanted to do a bull riding event. So we were sitting around the table and we said, you know what, why don't we do them both together and see what happens? And we're now rolling into year 7, and it's one. I don't think there's an event like this anywhere else, at least in Western Canada, that I've seen. So it's bringing the raw bulls and the bikes together. It's made for quite the interesting show, and we bring do our bike rodeo, bike games inside the arena with the bulls. So it's a different twist.
Yeah, it definitely is a different twist. I was speaking with Todd just a few minutes ago, and I was telling him a little bit about out in Falkland, BC, cowboys and bikers have been partying together for almost 100 years, thanks to the Falkland Stampede. And to see this whole spirit here in Alberta, but with such a different twist, there's no full-blown rodeo. This is just bull riders and bikers.
Yep, straight bull riding. And it's funny seeing all the leather and then all of the cowboy hats mixed together and guys mingling together. And we're getting... we get people from, especially on the bull riding side of things, coming in from Montana, Idaho, Washington. We've got people, the bike community coming from Grand Prairie, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, BC. It's really a nice meld, and people, they just love the event.
Yeah, and I was watching the faces of all the kids out there, and they're just having a ball.
Oh yeah, no, it's we haven't always been a family-friendly event, obviously, with the bike element and then the cowboys. So we kind of opened it up to kids here last year. Had the water balloon fights and the whole 9 yards, and the kids, just when they get out and see these bulls, they're just mesmerized. They're and of course what kid doesn't like a bike? It's burnout competitions, and they're just sit there with their tongues out going on.
Well, next year you're just going to have to do a potato and haystack race.
I might have to do that. Well, you bring up next year, our big announcement that we're going to be making here shortly is we're making plans to actually move this event to the Airdrie Airport next year, which we're very excited about. Heading into our year 8, we're going to be opening up the runway for drag racing, and we're also going to be bringing classic cars in as well. So it's a lot better setup for the bikes, which is great, considering rodeo grounds and some dirt and gravel and whatnot. But pretty pumped on that.
Well, that's really great. Now, you guys serve a whole ton of Airdrie area charities. Let's talk about that for a minute, because that's an important aspect of what you guys do.
That's the reason we do everything. We've got 5 different events that we hold there. Basically, we've got an event every couple of months. And the biggest thing, that being a bedroom community outside of Calgary, a lot of the money that gets spent for different charities usually goes into Calgary and gets distributed. We like to basically try and keep all the money that we raise through our events as Airdrie Oilmen in the city of Airdrie. We have 3 big charities in Airdrie, one being Community Links. We have the Airdrie and District Victims Assistance Society, and of course the Airdrie Food Bank. All 3 of those charities, they get limited funding from the government. They really have a minimal amount of opportunities and fundraisers that they can do on their own. They can only do so much, so we like to come in and help them out. We've also got Kids Sport, that the money we raise and donate to Kids Sport is pushed into the city of Airdrie, so it doesn't get dispersed through Calgary. We've got an arrangement with them, and they're perfectly accommodating to keep the funds in our town, which is great. So
The Spark Business Incubator is located in 214 Place and run by Community Futures Grand Prairie and Region. It can provide a new or expanding business with the supports to be successful. www.gpsparkincubator.ca back, and it's been a great bunch of bull riding. Last time I checked, it was 13-1 for the bulls. That makes me happy. Anyway, I'm being joined right now by the local MP, Blake, and tell me why you are here at this event. Why does this mean so much to you?
Sure. Well, first of all, I'll say we did get a second cowboy there, so we're 13-2, I think it is. Yeah, but you know, when you're on the cowboy side, we shouldn't say who's counting, because you know, 2 is we're going, you know, it's the best we're going to get, I guess. But no, as far as this event, you know, obviously Airdrie Oilmen's Association, you know, something that they started obviously in better conditions in terms of the oil patch, and you know, obviously the oil patch, we're seeing struggles right now, and you know, I know some of that is certainly government created, and you know, I've been fighting hard on behalf of the oil and gas industry. But what I'm so proud to see is these guys, you know, I know some of them are probably facing hard times themselves, but they know that their fellow, you know, citizens are facing difficult times, and to support 3 charities through an event like this one, and I know they put on a number of events during the year, and you know, the Victim Services Association, the Food Bank, and Community Links, they're all very significant and important groups in our community of Airdrie, and they do a lot of work to try and help people that are in difficult situations. Some of them, especially the victim services folks that are dealing with people that have faced tragedy or victims of crime. You know, this can be some of your darkest hours, your toughest times in life, and these are the people that come in and pick up the pieces. And to support that, I do anything, and these guys are doing a great job of doing just that.
I've been supporting Adrian for a while now, and I'm amazed at how hard that man works, and the passion of all of the Airdrie Oilmen's Association members. You can tell they love their community, and they really want it to thrive and to flourish, and they want everyone to share in the wealth.
Absolutely. You know, I can't say enough. Adrian, certainly, and others that are putting in countless hours. I actually kind of wonder when Adrian might sleep, because you know, with the amount of work that goes into an event like this, and I mean, I've put on events like this, I know how much work goes into it, and they're doing a number of these throughout the year, and this is one of a number, and it's a great event, but it takes a lot of work, and I commend them. Like, you know, it means a lot that someone's willing to give that much of their time to really support an important cause in their community.
I had spoken with Adrian earlier, and he expressed that they're doing 5 events a year, and that this has almost become his second full-time job, because to him, watching children, watching people hurting and going without just isn't acceptable in an abundant society.
Absolutely, and you're right. You know, that number of events, it would be a full-time job, a second full-time job, and you know, for him and others like him that step forward and say, this is not what we're going to let happen. We're going to make sure that people get the help they need. That just means the world. And you know, I can't thank them enough, and I know everyone in the community can't thank them enough. And you know, again, that's why it's, you know, for me to support what they're doing. You know, it's easy for me to say, great job, guys, but I want to be here to show that support. And you know, really, honestly, without people like them stepping forward, without the Oilmen's Association, other groups like them stepping forward to make sure that people, you know, have the opportunities they need to get the help they need, I don't know where we'd be.
Yeah, our community is filled with heroes, and Adrian Pruden would be one of those unsung heroes. Would you agree with that?
Oh, without question. And I think, you know, talk about him being camera shy, right? That's usually how it works, right? And I guess I say this as a politician who always is in front of the camera, but you know, the people that are there and working the hardest behind the scenes, they're often the ones they're not looking for recognition, and that's not what this is about. It's not about recognition, right? It's about helping the community. And I think when you can say that about somebody, when they truly have that heart for the community, they're doing it. They're not doing it for any kind of glory. They're not doing it for any kind of recognition at all. They're doing it because they really believe in a cause and they really want to help their community. That says everything about somebody.
It's Terra Oil Field that's one of the sponsors that really stepped up big this year, and the owner of that company is a man named Martin. And Adrian wanted me to interview Martin as his way of showing Martin thanks for stepping up to help out to make sure this event could go ahead. and another unsung hero, the sponsors of these events, because so many of them, they don't really want the recognition. They almost get embarrassed. And how humble, how real can you get?
Isn't that the truth, right? I mean, to not, be seeking that recognition. I mean, I know over the years that this event's been held, I think that Martin, with his company, Terra Oilfield, they have, I think it's probably in the six figures or close to it that they've given to these causes that are being supported by this event. That's significant. And, when you think about now the difficult time that the oil and gas industry is having, and for a company in that sector to step forward at this rate to still make sure that something like this is supported to the level it needs to be, that's really means something. And you can't say enough about someone like that. That's a true corporate citizen, someone who really believes in trying to help the community. It's when you run a business like that, there's a lot that goes into it, and you do well. But when you give back to the community, that means more, I know, to them than anything else they can do.
Well, and I agree. I think paying it forward into the community that you make your living from is important. It's hugely important. You have to keep filling it up and giving back, because if you don't and everybody just keeps taking, pretty soon everything's depleted. And volunteers burn out. People get tired of reaching in their pockets if they aren't thanked. And Adrian and his crew, his MC out of Saskatoon, I forget the gentleman's name, but I have never heard sponsors promoted and thanked and pumped so much, so well. And it's wonderful to see that level of appreciation all the way through this team, and to see a community like Airdrie and what you guys are capable of doing when you put your minds together.
Absolutely. I think, that you mentioned the importance of saying thank you. And it's something we often forget. We often forget that. All of us can be bad for that at times. And it means so much to say thank you for when a sponsor comes forward and gives in the tens of thousands of dollars, when a volunteer gives of dozens or hundreds of their hours of their time to support an important cause. That's the only way that a community really thrives, and that a community is really meets its full potential and helps all of the citizens that need it. And so we can't say thank you enough. And it is great to see that there's so much recognition being shown to the sponsors and all those who are stepping forward to make that happen. And I just only can add to that my big thank you as well.
Well, that's been some time with MP Blake Richards, and it has been wonderful to speak with you, sir. Next time on Ride Like a Local, we'll be at the Veterans MC and the Corporal Michael Starker Poker Run.